Welcome back to the Midnight Who Show, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing SpongeBob, the Cosmic Shake from THQ Nordic and Purple Lamp. Now these are the companies behind the wonderful rehydrated version of Battle for Bikini Bottom, one of my favorite games from my younger days. So I was really excited when they announced the Cosmic Shake. It really felt like a spiritual successor to the SpongeBob games of the early 2000s, a 3D platformer with some really awesome level designs. And I was really excited to start playing it, and it definitely did not disappoint, but it is not a perfect game. I will say, really enjoy this game if you get it. It's really short. It's only probably would take you about 6 hours to actually complete the whole game. So really just spread it out over a few days. I think you'll really enjoy it a lot more. Now, the levels, I think, are really creative in this game. They're wish worlds because SpongeBob accidentally breaks the cosmic boundaries because he makes too many wishes, and that sends all his fellow Bikini Bottom residents all over these cosmic wish worlds. Of course, there is 7 wish worlds for the player to explore, and they are Jellyfish Fields Western, Downtown Movie Set, Pirate Goo Lagoon, Prehistoric Kelp Forest, a Medieval Land, Halloween Rock Bottom, and Glove World. And the hub world, of course, is Bikini Bottom. Like I mentioned, this game is not perfect. And more what I mean is for the Switch version. I don't know what the other versions are like. But let me tell you, the Switch version, even after that first update, is rough to play. Like, I could not believe some of the things that happened. But I expected them. But some of them I did not expect, which is the first one we're going to talk about. So let's go to the Switch cam really quick to show you this very first glitch that I discovered by accident. Yeah, walking under lava. What a weird thing to do. You can still complete all the same moves that you would expect. Did anything like this happen when you guys played the game? One of the biggest problems that I ran into this game is whenever it did a automatic save, the game just froze. And let me tell you, it gets really annoying when you're either in the air or on the slides, and it just stops. And you really have to react really quickly. Another problem is, of course, well, it reloads you into some really unfortunate places sometimes. Mostly because there's an enemy right there, so you better react quick. That was annoying. But I was pretty good at reacting to him, but it's like, you're gonna put me right next to a jelly creature? And another problem is, I didn't capture this one, but SpongeBob did not load in one of the cutscenes. Wait, I misspoke. I actually apparently did capture it. It only happened for a few seconds, not the whole cutscene. Yeah, and also the frame rate drops a lot of the time. Still playable. I was still able to play the game, and honestly, those were just minor problems and inconveniences. So let's talk about my least favorite level, and then we'll talk about my favorite level of this game. My least favorite was, unfortunately, the pirate level with Admiral Prawn. And honestly, I think the level is awesome. It's vast and so many things to explore. But the main problem is those pies, which is an awesome reference if you ask me. But the problem with the pies is they just keep throwing them at you. But you also have all the other jelly creatures coming at you. And boy, you gotta just keep going. And also, there's all the characters say the same thing over and over again. It gets a little too much. But it's still a great level. I don't like that they just kind of overloaded you with enemies and the pies from the sky. I just think it just ruined that level for me. My favorite, of course, was the movie downtown level with the karate. Definitely you can tell the movie they're parodying, but I really just enjoyed this. There's so many different things you can do in this level, and it's very creative. And speaking of creative, that is what this game is. It's a very creative, well-designed SpongeBob game. It's actually one of the best I've played in years. You can tell that Purple Lamp are fans of the early days of SpongeBob, but also they throw in a little bit for the new SpongeBob fans, and I think they do a really good job with it. There is a lot of Easter eggs jam-packed in this entire game, and they're really fun to spot. Besides the bosses of this game, you will encounter jelly creatures to fight. And these are very similar to the robot from Battle for Bikini Bottom. They even have similar moves to them. So they're very easy to defeat. Some of them, and each of them add a different obstacle and challenge for you to overcome. And it always keeps you on the feet. Now, the boss fights is what keeps this game from being perfect. Battle for Bikini Bottom, for example, I think had some phenomenal bosses. The Cosmic Shake did not have really phenomenal bosses, and honestly, I felt that was the weakest part of the game. You don't even fight the prawn, you fight the jelly creatures, and I find that just a disappointment. And I think, like, the boss fight with Sandy, it's the same thing, but you add little different obstacles. So that was a pretty good one, and the Pearl boss fight was great, and I really enjoyed the Glove World fight with Glovey. Like, seriously, that was so creative, and you had different little areas that you had to then adapt to and then fight the boss. But the final boss, boy, that was just disappointing. Like, that was the final boss. You just did the same thing like with the Pearl fight. You just keep adapting to the situation, and you keep shooting Cassandra, which is a very good villain in this game, by the way. It's definitely someone who's very easily to manipulate, the free-carrying sponge. This game also has great mechanics. I think, you know, it's really easy to learn. I really like the little graphics of how they explain them to you. I do wish you get to play a little bit as different characters, but I'm okay with that because, honestly, you play as SpongeBob with his different costumes, which don't do much for the game. They're just cosmetic. But I wish Patrick did more than just lift you out of, like, water and stuff like that. But he's a great companion for this game, and he adds a lot of humor to it. Overall, the Cosmic Shake is a fun game. I think there's a lot of great mechanics into it, some really well-designed levels, but it is far from perfect because of the, you know, short run time, I just think, lack of really creative boss fights, and honestly, just the Switch version kind of having bad frame rates. But hey, we expect that from the Switch, especially mine's like, what, 5 years old at this point? What can you do? It's still a great game, and it definitely is a great spiritual successor to Battle for Bikini Bottom, and I think any SpongeBob fan will have an absolute blast with this game. So if you played the Cosmic Shake, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.